Welcome to episode 14 of IceDJ Gaming's deBETA podcast. I will be the host for today, Noah Graham, and I am joined by Cody Jipson. How's it going, Cody?
I'm doing fabulous.
That's good to hear. I'm also joined by Grant Ramirez, a person who we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. I'm not saying that he gave birth to us, but he gave birth to the IceDJ Gaming project. How's it going, Grant?
Hello, I'm not too bad.
That's great to hear. We've gone for the slightly more usual podcast formula this week, but we hope you enjoyed our JRPG special last week. As usual, we'll get into the games we've been playing, and we can start off with you, Cody.
So all I've been playing for the past week is Smash for 3DS, and I mean, there's really not much to say besides it's fun, but it has its faults, it has its upsides, but it's Smash for 3DS, really. I mean, that's the only way you can explain it. It feels clunky, but it's still fun because everyone else is playing with the same clunky design, but yet it's not clunky enough to get in the way of the gameplay, and there's so many mini games which are fun on a handheld where your hands cramp up after 5 or 6 minutes. So doing 100-man Smash or Trophy Run or Smash Run is fun. There are some balancing issues with a few of the characters. I won't name one, Sheik, but I'm sure that'll be patched out, hopefully in the Wii U version, or it'll be patched out in the 3DS version, maybe. But, yeah, it's fun. I'm having a great time with it, so.
So after playing the 3DS version, are you confident in what you think the Wii U version will be? Do you think it'll live up to all the expectation that's been put on it?
Yeah, the 3DS version was enough for me to be like, if this was how... If we only got the 3DS version, I'd be happy. I mean, there are some complaints, but overall, I would have been happy. But I mean, the fact that I know it's coming out on the Wii U with, cross your fingers, better network support,
yeah.
Better controls, controllers and whatnot, just better graphics. I mean, that just makes me more hyped for... next month's release, so... Will
you be getting the that adapter thing?
The GameCube controller?
Oh, probably not. I was never I didn't really care for Melee, and I liked Brawl because it was more arcadey than, it was more floating stuff, and I liked it. I know a lot of people don't. But, I always played with the Wiimote on Brawl, and I know a lot of people will crucify me for that, but, I don't know. I like just playing it. I don't care about, a GameCube controller is optimized and whatever, and I don't want to sink $40 more into it, so.
Yeah, fair enough. I was very much the same. I played Brawl with the Wii Remote because it was when it was me and my brother and my cousin playing, we only had 2 GameCube controllers, so being older, they'd get the GameCube controllers and I'd get the Wii Remote, and I was always at that slight disadvantage because I didn't have the C stick, but I still won a few. Yeah. I still held my ground. And that's all we've been playing, really.
Oh, yeah.
What have you been... It's a sign of good game, then, if you're not having to delve into anything else for your entertainment.
Yeah. If someone has a Wii U, would you recommend them buy the 3DS version, or can they wait for the Wii U?
I would say that if you really want to play Smash right now, go ahead. You won't be disappointed. Like I said, the good points definitely outweigh the faults for me. Although, keep in mind that if you have an original 3DS, watch gameplay on it first to make sure you really want it, because I've heard that the controls are, your hands can cramp and whatnot, and, keep the whole thumbstick in mind. The big problem with the thumbstick. I haven't had the thumbstick problem. Mine hasn't even, gummed up yet, like a lot of people claim theirs does. But, if you have a 3DS XL and you want Smash Bros. For $40, I'd definitely purchase it.
Fair enough.
Smash.
Maybe your stick hasn't gummed up enough because you haven't been playing hard enough.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not.
Maybe you
pro,
need to be more hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah, more hard. You're just not hardcore enough. So how dare you call yourself a Smash?
I'll never be
Brothers fan.
Oh well.
What about you, Grant? What have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Shadow of Mordor. I like it a lot. The combat's really fun. It's like Batman and mixed with Assassin's Creed stealth. It's starting to get slightly repetitive, just the part going around killing captains. I wish the missions were kind of more linear instead of like free roaming and you can take as much time as you want to do it. But like the missions that they have that aren't just like control the war chiefs, I like it a lot. And secondly, I've been playing Drive Club. It's a good racer. First of all, the visuals are stunning. Problems is the handling is good, but there are these drifting challenges that are kind of hard, at least for me, just because it's a bit too sticky to get a good drift.
So, with Drive Club, I don't care about racing games, but I would like to know, as someone who doesn't know a lot about racing games, where would you put Drive Club? Would you put it on, like in a list between Burnout and Forza? Where would you put it? You know, like arcadey? Is it serious?
I mean, it's somewhere in between because like it's kind of arcadey, as in like it's not like you can't crash at all or the drifting is like non-existent, but like it's more realistic and modest, I guess, because it's like instead of like most arcade racers where like it's like an open world and you drive around to events, there's like a menu and then it's just like on linear tracks. But yeah, I'd say it's somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, with Drive Club, I know that I haven't checked today, but when I did last check, Drive Club, the PlayStation Plus edition I'm talking about, wasn't up on Sony's servers yet. So is it up there now? I
don't believe so. They delayed it because like the servers were kind of getting overloaded, even like without the PlayStation Plus version. So they decided to like hold off on it, I guess, until they could fix their servers. Like I haven't really been able to play multiplayer much at all. I played about half a race and then I got kicked. So I still haven't tried that part out yet.
Whoa, that's quite surprising to hear, because Drive Club, from what I've seen of it and what I heard of it, very much relies on multiplayer. And Shadow of Mordor, I'm the same. I've been playing that game and it's really good.
Yeah,
like, it's just so much fun. I mean, Talion and is it Celebrimbor or something?
Celebrimbor or something? I don't know.
Yeah. It's a cool name. It's just hard to remember for me anyway, and hard to pronounce. But yeah, I think their relationship could be a bit deeper, because like it's very it's very skin deep. Like it doesn't have too much behind it, or it has more potential than it. I'm getting my words mixed up. It has potential, and they didn't fulfill it, I don't think, with that relationship. But I really enjoy that. I like it that you're not really... you are a good person, but you're just there because there's the main storyline is that you're supposed to die and be with your family, but you're stuck in that realm with Celebrimbor.
Yeah.
I think I pronounced that somewhat. You're stuck with Celebrimbor and you're just there getting revenge against all these people and just going out killing people. That's essentially the whole game, is just assassination.
So...
And I think that...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
So as someone who, again, these questions are making me sound like I've been shut out from the outside world. Is this connected to Lord of the Rings at all, story-wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't... Obviously, it doesn't affect the films at all, really. It's just sort of a nice use of the franchise. Like they've got hints towards the films. They've got characters from them. They've got you come across the artifacts which tell you a bit more story about the lore of Tolkien's universe. So
it's enough of its own game for it to be enjoyable without like all of these references and stuff to like movies and books, and like it's not bogged down by references, I guess is kind of one of...
Oh, definitely not. No. And like, I mean, I've watched both films. I tried reading Lord of the Rings books, but that was just too painful, like too slow. I didn't need to know about Tolvir's whole family. I just wanted to get through. But with Shadow of Mordor, I get that name so mixed up.
Yeah, I say it Shadows all the time.
Yeah, it's just so easy to do, just so easy to slip into it. But with Shadow Mordor is very much a game that stands on its own. The Black Hand, I don't think, are referenced in the films, and they're the sort of the main enemies of the game. So you wouldn't need to be a fan of the Lord of the Rings series to play the game. I think you should be more interested in the mechanics behind it, the Nemesis system, the combat. Like, I mean, you don't necessarily need the Lord of the Rings skin for it, but it suits it well.
Right.
It's they obviously had a mechanic they wanted to use, and they obviously got permission from Warner Brothers to use Lord of the Rings universe.
Yeah, like I don't remember much from the movies, and I'm still having a great time with it.
Just all remember Legolas going down a staircase on a shield, firing arrows at orcs. That's essentially it. You feel like that though. The way you slaughter the Uruks is just so fluid and so awesome. You decapitate a lot of them, by the way.
Like every time you interrogate them, it's like, do you want to dismiss him or kill him? Well, I'm not just going to let him go.
No mercy.
No mercy. As per usual, we've been playing Don Bradman cricket as well.
Really?
I know. Shocking.
Never would have guessed. I thought you hated cricket.
I feel like I'm at sort of like an AA meeting. Like, it's my 15 weeks and I just can't get sober. I just keep delving back into Don Bradman cricket. It's hurting my family and my friends. They just hate to see me suffer. But yeah, I've still been playing Don Bradman cricket.
How long have you been playing it?
Oh God.
Since April.
Wow.
So what's the month now? That's how addicted I am.
I don't remember a time where you haven't put that as your I've been playing, so
yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, well, I was playing. Yeah. Well, since we've been doing this podcast, I've been playing it each week, and I think I played it for a couple of months before we started this, so I'll be about... This must be nearly half a year of Don Bradman cricket.
Do you forget Smash Bros? You're going to be a cricket pro.
I've also been playing Persona 4. It's weird.
Golden or PS2?
Golden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. On the Vita. I was quite annoyed about that, actually, because for some reason I don't have earbuds, so I don't listen to the Vita when I'm playing. So when I first booted up Persona 4 and got into the cutscene, there was a cutscene where there was talking going on, but there was no subtitles, and you couldn't pause it and put them on, and that just really infuriated me. Like, this is the start of the game, you're not giving me a good impression. But I started playing that, and haven't really got too far in it, but I'm not sure if I'll like it. Hopefully I will, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I can sink 100 hours into it. I'm already worried about that and haven't really gone into the first battles, so we'll see how
I've heard from... I know a friend who was really into the Persona series, and he's like, oh yeah, I think if you start on Persona, it should be Persona 4. And I'm like, okay, why is that? And he's like, because the game's like 120 hours long. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a good point to me, but maybe for an RPG, I think that'd get pretty dull after a while.
Yeah. We obviously had the podcast last week talking about JRPGs, and I think something that we didn't mention is they do tend to be a bit too long, I think. Sometimes longer than they need to be, so I'll keep you updated on that, see if I play much more of that. The teacher is a bit of an arsehole.
Oh yeah, they always are in Persona.
Yeah. I've also been playing State of Decay once more. It's a hell of a buggy game. It's broken would be a word to describe it, but it just manages to work, kind of. But it's just still a bit of fun. I think we're done with games we've been playing and going to topics. And topic 1 is: do you think developers, publishers, and game marketers should be honest with the general public? So do you want to start us off, Grant, or do you want to go deep?
I'll go. Yes, they should be honest with the public, because I think it was a couple months ago when Guerrilla Games, they had I know it's talking about resolution, but I think they said that the multiplayer was native 1080p, but then they later figured out that it was up-resed, I believe, and then they got a lot of flack for that. So I think if you be honest with them from the start, then you won't really get like distrust from the gamers. But also like another resolution thing, like the Assassin's Creed Unity developers, I think it was this week, they said that Unity would be 900p on both Xbox One and PS4 because they didn't want to have like arguments about like this console's better than that one. But I think that was a little too much, because if they just said it was going to be 900 on both and didn't mention the part about like just because they didn't want to ensue like console parity, like if they just kept it at it's going to be 900p on both, then there wouldn't really be any argument.
Yeah, for this question, I looked up like like the whole Assassin's Creed deal, because again, I've been apparently shut out from the outside world. The guy actually stated afterward, he's like, I apologize greatly, because those words, I didn't mean to say it like that. He's like, those were not the words I meant to use, was, like, we're doing this because we don't want people to argue about what console's better. I'm like, dude, you should have chose your words better to begin with, because, you can't take that back. So. Yeah,
well, when you're representing a massive company like Ubisoft, you've got to assume that he's on a pretty decent salary. So one of his jobs should be keep my tongue in check. Like, make sure when I'm talking to a journalist about a game that I know what I'm going to be talking. And it's not like you're not going to expect what resolution is your game running on, because everybody's obsessed with it right now. That just seems to be the fad. Everybody gets annoyed with. Something's 1800p, something's 900p. It's just like, who cares?
How many P's?
1080p. Yeah.
All the P's.
Only P's. But yeah, I think that as a rule, should they be honest? Or it's kind of a tricky one, because as a consumer, you want to say yes, but like sort of like, to use a government analogy, like we all say, our government should be really honest and things like that. But I think, well, if we knew everything that went on in the government, we'd be sickened, because the amount of stuff that we don't know that goes on.
I mean, like you said, as a consumer, yeah, sure, I'd love to know. But like Grant said, it's like, or like we all said, if you want to just leave it 900p for the sake of, us not arguing about it, just say, okay, we're leaving it at 900p, we'll leave it at that. Don't be like, yeah, well, we don't want you guys complaining all the time to us about, this and that. It's like, okay, just tell us what it is and just leave it. There's no...
Best way they could have dealt with this, said, we're working with new hardware. We wanted to lock it onto one solid, like 900p and a solid frame rate, so it runs better for consumers.
The thing is, though,
that would be the case.
They got in trouble with that with Watch Dogs, didn't they, on the PC?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're gonna lock it to whatever, was it 900? And they're like, there is absolutely no way you can change it, or something like that. And like a week later, some guy went to the files of the game. They're like, "Wow, the stuff is here for the game. It's just not activated." And it's like, "Oh, well, that's not good."
Yeah, see, that's where the customer relation's gone bad, because I think PC is a completely different story.
Yeah.
But the argument between the PS4 and the Xbox One is people saying, well, the Xbox One is holding the PS4 back, and Microsoft paid off Ubisoft to make sure they hit a 900p, so there wasn't this sort of conflict between the consoles, which is always going to be. That's not going to be avoided anyway.
Yeah.
But I think with PC, it's a completely different story, because you can't have the excuse that this is new hardware, because that's always happening with PC. You're always getting updates and things. So I guess it would have hurt them because of that previous thing of them locking it to 900p and then somebody discovering that it could be 1080p. But for the consoles, I think it would be perfectly acceptable. People would have just gone, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Ubisoft are digging themselves a big hole right now with customer relations.
Yeah.
Because they're a big business. We understand that you're going to make money, but if they continue the way they do, I don't see them being around in the next 10 years. Or if they are, they're not going to be as big of a force on the gaming industry as they are currently. Did we all give our views on publishing?
One more thing I thought of, like when they announced Arkham Knight, the new Batman game, like they announced it back in March, I believe, and then 2 months later they were like, nope, we're gonna have to delay into next year. And then now that we know it's coming out in June, like there's no way they could have thought that this game was coming out in October. I mean, yeah, it gets people excited and gets pre-orders up, but it kind of like tarnishes the trust that they have in the publisher.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like just people have high expectations now or what, but God, there's been a lot of games getting pushed back this year, and lately too. I mean, I don't know, like back when the 360 was out, I don't remember it being that big of an issue, but I mean, holy crap, as of like the past 2 years, it's like, this game's coming out now. It's like, never mind, 3 months, you know? Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting, because you just think, well, why are so many companies doing this? Is next gen not as easy to develop for as we were told, or are these publishers and developers just wanting to hold back so they get the best game out as possible? But I'm not sure. I think maybe the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were launched too soon for developers. Like, I know we've had like a 7 or 8 year gap, but for some reason developers just aren't being able to develop the game with the hardware that they're given as easily as they thought. So many things are being delayed. But that goes back to the question: do you think they should be honest? Like, we're given all these marketing reasons for a game to be held back, rather than them just saying, well, we're struggling right now.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like the early release date for a lot of these games, especially like you said, Arkham Knight, or was it Arkham?
Yeah, Arkham Knight.
I don't even remember. Arkham Knight. Okay. There's so many. There's Arkham Asylum. There's Arkham City and Arkham Origins. But like, it just seems like that was a big push, and it's like, were they doing that to keep it in the public eye for a little bit, and then, you know, when they were closer to having, you know, like a decent build after the original release date, they're gonna start showing footage. You know, like, it just seems weird, because that was a big push.
Yeah, but I also think if you like announce a game super early and say like, if you announce a game, say, like 2 years before it actually releases, then it's not really going to drive pre-order sales as much. Like, sure, it'll get it up a little bit initially, but, like, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I can't wait to pre-order this. This game doesn't come out for a while. But if you do it, like, say, like 6 months before it comes out, it's like, that game is out soon. I need to pre-order it now so that I don't miss out.
Yeah, I think a lot of developers and publishers need to take a leaf out from, like, Bethesda and Rockstars, but I know they not all of them had the luxury. Like, obviously you are pressed for money, so you do need to announce your game, but look at Bethesda and Rockstar. They don't release their game until they're pretty much done with their game. I mean, GTA 5, that was what announced a year, if that, before its release. Like, and we only saw a few trailers, just sort of say, yeah, it's coming. You know, it's coming, baby. It's coming. So it's, like I said, not all developers and publishers have that luxury, but if you do, make sure you use it, because us consumers are going to thank you for it, because we don't want to hear about a game 2 years before it's even released and then come up with it and it's just like, oh no, actually it's going to take a bit longer than we've thought. I mean, The Last Guardian's a perfect example of that.
Oh yeah, holy crap. And they don't even say, they just keep their mouth shut. They're like, it's coming. It's not, you know, it's not dead, but it's coming. You know, instead of telling us the truth, like, well, we're having issues, and, you know, like, we're having funding issues, or, you know, the interest isn't there anymore. It's just, it's here. You know, and then, like, 8 months later, where is it? It's still here. You know.
Yeah, we're still working on it. I think you've got to, because I've forgotten who developed it, but they literally said, we haven't cancelled it. It is coming. That we're not like just sort of pulling the wool over your eyes and just trying to wait for it to go quiet and just letting it die in a corner. We are still working on it. So I just think 8 years for a game.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's quite a long dev period.
The same thing was with 13 Verses, which is what, 15 now, I think they're calling it. So I mean, that was what, 10 years ago? I think they posted, or no, can't be 10. Well, no, it was 8 years ago maybe, that 13 Verses was announced, and they're like, it's coming, and then, no, we're done with it, and then oh, well, it might be its own game, and then, okay, it's 15, it's Final Fantasy 15. And, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's, it'd be nice to know, instead of just kind of being in the dark about it for that long, for 6-7 years. So.
Yeah, I think Square Enix are quite bad for that, because they also
definitely
recently released that, well, not recently actually, God, my memory's going, but they released the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, and people were just like, oh my god, look at how good that looks, we're going to get that really soon. I'm just like, no, you're not.
2016 at the earliest.
Yeah, we're going to wait a few years before that comes out, because I was talking to my brother, and he's just like, oh, but look at it, it's going to be out soon. I'm just like, no, I'm sorry, we're not getting it for a while.
I hate to break it to you, but
I hate to burst your bubble, but yeah. Okay, we've done topic 1. We'll best move on, because we don't want to be here for 24 hours.
24-hour podcast.
That would be just painful.
I couldn't do it.
Well, you can. I'm not.
Yeah.
Do you think this generation has been a disappointment so far? And by this generation, I mean Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and even the Wii U. So do you want to start us off with that, Cody? Because I think Grant went last time.
I was hoping you wouldn't specify, because it's like, yeah, this generation talking about swag, wearing their pants around their ankles, but you specified, so I would have to say...
I've given up on this generation. Humanity is doomed.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'd have to say, as far as the PS4, because I can't say about the Xbox One, more from hearsay, but as an owner of the PS4, I would have to say that, yeah, this generation's been pretty lackluster so far. The big titles are really far and few between, or few and far between, whatever. But
whatever order, it doesn't really
whatever. But I don't know. It's just the only thing I'm really looking forward to a lot of the times are the exclusives, and like I said, exclusives are really you don't get exclusives very often. Like Infamous, I liked Infamous,
yeah,
and then it's I can't even think of anything right now. But Destiny was okay, but I mean,
but it's
even
on
then,
both consoles, 360 and PS3.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, that took a while to come out from Infamous, and I can't even think of a game I played on my PS4 in between Infamous and Destiny besides Plants vs. Zombies. But even then, that was not that great of a game. I liked it, but I mean, it was nothing that held me over. Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't have minded if I got my PS4 next year and then played the backlog next year. I would be happy, but as of right now, I'm pretty upset. Wii U is doing okay, though, I think, but I know a lot of people would also say that the exclusives are very far apart. Like, Tropical Freeze came out... Okay, well, Super Mario 3D World came out last November.
November? Yeah, November.
Yeah, and then Tropical Freeze came out in February, which was pushed back from November or December.
And wait until Mario Kart.
Yeah, and then Mario Kart came out in May. So, I mean, it was February, May, and then after that, Hyrule Warriors, I guess, which came out this month.
September.
So, I mean, yeah, the Wii U hasn't been doing great. But I definitely think the reason why the Wii U got bashed so hard, especially when it first came out, was because, I mean, when a console first comes out, exclusives are kind of what you're looking for, like crazy games that show off the system. And, the Wii U didn't really have that at first. And now it's kind of starting to with all these, Smash Bros. And Hyrule Warriors and Mario Kart. But I think PlayStation was kind of the same way. Definitely at first, it was struggling. Like, Knack, I wouldn't consider that a great game.
I was one of the few that actually liked Knack a lot.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Great. But
it's linear,
anyway,
but I liked it because it was hard.
Well,
challenging.
That's a different podcast altogether, I think. but
okay,
I don't know. I think that I think that next-gen consoles are having the same problem, is just the good games are really far apart, but I think it'll come out of it eventually. Next year, I would have to say. Don't quote me on that, though.
I think a lot of people are pinning The Witcher as being that game that like really lifts the consoles up. But for me, I'm in quite a good boat because I kind of regret my PS4 purchase because I bought it for Watch Dogs and that was a mistake. But but I haven't got a Wii U or 3DS yet. I probably won't get a 3DS. I just can't really be bothered. I've got my Vita and I don't really play that, so it'll just be a waste of money getting a 3DS. But as far as the Wii U is concerned, I might pick it up next year, and then I'll just have all this backlog to go through, and I think that's just
I think that's definitely the way to go about it. Because I've had my Wii U since launch, and I mean, I dust it off every 4 months and play the next game, you know what I mean? But, I mean, I enjoy it, definitely, but it's, the good games are very far apart, so. But when they're good, they're good, so.
As the hardware goes, for the PS4 I'm talking about, as the hardware goes, I think it's underperformed for me. Like, when they showed the advertisements and everything, how easy it would be. I mean, the user interface, like going from a game into your sort of like a PlayStation menu, is quite fluid. But like, I was using Share Factory, and God, does that take a while to use? Like,
I hate Share Factory.
I haven't even downloaded it yet. I remember when the patch first came out to put it in, and it's just like the shortcut that takes you to the store, and I'm like, nope, not even. Like, I don't even want to think about it. I'd rather
like, when I made a video review for, what was it? Infamous First Light? Yeah, like, someone, I can't remember who, but someone was like, did you edit it using Share Factory? I was like, no, I can't even imagine editing on that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the entire, like, it took me hours on a computer. Like, it would literally take me days to edit on PS4.
Yeah. Like, because you've got a capture card, Cody, so I just use that instead.
Yeah.
Like, Share Factory's okay if that's all you've got.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like a pain getting it from the PlayStation onto USB. Just takes ages for the size files.
Yeah. Oh my god! Like,
that's really atrocious.
First
world problem, so.
I mean, for the reviews goal, it took me, like, before Jake told me to format my pen drive as an exFAT, it took for like 500 or it was like 400 megabytes worth of video footage. It took an hour and a half. Like, oh my god, like, that's nuts.
Yeah. Disappointing game-wise, I would say Shadows of Mordor is the only one that thought, okay, this is a good purchase, like, because it didn't have the hype behind it as all the others. Killzone, that was just a boring game as far as I'm concerned. Infamous, I'm going to sound really negative, I apologise for this, but Infamous, it looked really good, but it had nothing to it really. I thought the environment was quite bland. What else have I played? Like I said, Watch Dogs.
Last of Us Remastered, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah, that doesn't count. Played a bit of Sherlock Holmes, and that looks like it could have been on last generation.
That's PS4.
Yeah, but it's also on PS3 as well. So.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so Shadows of Mordor is the only one I thought, okay, this is a good purchase. Finally, next gen, but
finally,
yeah, after a year.
Yeah. Like, I don't think, unless you're super excited, I don't think that you need to have bought one by now. Like, you can wait until next year.
Yeah, definitely. Or just as a Christmas sort of gift. I mean, this Christmas would be prime time to get it, because this month is filled with games. So,
and I mean, next year you've got quite a bit coming out, like Metal Gear Solid 5, you have, was it The Order, the new Batman. I actually want to see how good the new Batman looks on next gen, just because it's in Gotham, right? So I mean, I think that looked nuts.
Yeah. Like, they showed gameplay at E3, and when I saw like what they showed, it was amazing. Like, the verticality was really good.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So I think, like, the first year of a console, you probably don't need to buy it, because for the most part, the devs are still learning the hardware, and a lot of the games that are put out are showing off more of the technical aspects instead of, like, amazing games. Like, Killzone was... I thought multiplayer was great. The single player was alright. And then Infamous I liked a lot, but the environments were bland. Like, it was pretty and the gameplay was fun. That was pretty much all I had going for it. I still liked it a lot, but... And then... Is that it? Watch Dogs, but that's on both. And then... Yeah, that's basically it. Because there hasn't really been any multi-platform like that are on both Xbox One and PS4 that like aren't on last-gen consoles.
Yeah,
like,
and you can't blame third-company developers. They obviously want money.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't sort of penalise them for that. This is the first console that I've ever bought within the within the first year of it being released, and my first time with it, I think I've learnt my lesson. Next iterations of consoles, I'm gonna make sure I wait a year, no matter how excited I was. Like, I was talking to a friend and we were just like, we should have waited. And I was like, yeah, we should have.
That was the same way with me with the Wii U, but I'll keep doing it. I don't care. Buy it first day one.
Like the second or third year of the generation, usually when games start kicking into gear. Like when you start getting the Evolves, the Batmans, the Uncharteds,
Witcher.
The big names.
Yeah, The Witcher. I'm sure there's a lot more. Like Rainbow Six looks amazing.
The new Call of Duty, is that
both
last gen as well?
It's Activision.
Of course, yeah. That was a stupid question now.
And then No Man's Sky looks incredible.
Yeah, I can't believe that they're the people that did what was it? Joe Danger, is it?
I believe so.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
that's
it's
quite
such a weird game to go from. Anyway, best move on to topic 3. We don't want to be here forever.
Forever.
What is the best?
You're in such a rush, Noah. What's going on?
I've just had enough of you,
stay a
Cody,
while.
right?
He's got somewhere to be. As we cut the power cord in his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be homeless in 10 minutes, okay? We've got to get on with this. So yeah, what is the best local multiplayer game you have ever played? Dun dun dun. And you can start us off with that, Grant.
Mario Kart Double Dash. I played so much of that game with my siblings, and like, it was there's a lot of great Mario Kart games. Like, I thought 8 was fantastic. But Double Dash, like, it did the unique thing with the double riders, like how you could have 2 people in one cart. Like, I played that a ton with just my brother and sister, and I just had a great time with it.
Yeah, I've never played Double Dash, surprisingly.
Shame.
I liked it because what it was growing up, I had like one friend who would come over to my house because I live in kind of like the boonies, and he didn't play games, so we'd always play Double Dash. I'd be like, you can sit on the back and hold my items, because trust me, that's a big deal. And he's like, okay, and I'd be like, toss him, and he'd toss it, and he'd be like, oh man, he's like, this is so fun, and I'm like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you put the person who's bad on the back and just tell them exactly what to do.
Yeah, and they still have fun with it, because it's so... That game was so, like, epic. Like, there was so much going on for, like... It's just crazy.
I like how each, like, I guess set of characters had their own, like, item.
Specials,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, special item. Like, Baby Bowser and Bowser, they had, like, a giant turtle shell. And
there was tons of really cool characters, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Petey Piranha and, like, King Boo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the first introduction of, like, Toadette and Birdo, and that was a really revolutionary, like, especially for a GameCube game. That was pretty crazy.
What about you, Cody? Was that your pick, or do you have something else?
No, I wish I would have said that, though, but, I would have to say that, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle for the PlayStation 3.
Good old JoJo.
Is the best couch co-op game. It's a fighting game. I've explained this before, but it's just, you don't have to know how to play a fighting game. It's technical if you want it to be, but you don't have to know how to play a fighting game to have tons of fun. You don't even have to know the source material. You don't have to know anything about JoJo's at all. And all it is guys with ghosts behind them that oorah punch each other in Japanese, and it's hilarious. There's a guy who drops steamrollers on people. It's hilarious. So And I mean, like I said, you don't have to know how to play a fighting game to play. And my friend and I, back before we went to college, he'd play it with me like tons. And we're both completely trash at fighting games, but like they're really broken characters, and we'd always like mirror match with the broken character and see who could win. It was just hours of fun. And this isn't gonna matter, but for those who are listening, this weekend it is $40 right now for the Namco Bandai sale, but whatever. So
have you been sponsored, Cody?
No, not at all.
Sponsored by JoJo himself.
Why would you think that?
I can just imagine like an envelope with some money just slipped onto your desk before the podcast. And
no, seriously,
like,
I'm not.
The sales are a bit low, Cody. Why don't you bump them up a bit? No,
I would do that.
Talking about easy to play fighters, mine is Super Smash Bros. I just think there's so many just like moments that it's just like just so awesome, like because you don't need to be particularly good at fighting games. You just pick the character that looks the coolest to you
and hit the buttons.
And hit the buttons, exactly. But then it is complex once you start getting good with it. I've played hours and hours of Brawl with my brother and my cousin, like I said, and even though I was using the Wii remote for it, I just had so much fun with it. Like being Toon Link and just bombing up my brother and my cousin. It's just you can't get better than that. Is that it for everybody's what our local multiplayer game is, or is there any other shout outs that you'd want to do for them?
Oh, I mean, you're gonna be homeless soon, so we better hurry up.
That's true. That is true.
Alright.
You only got 5 more minutes inside your house.
I've checked the windows, the bailiffs are coming.
Oh god. What are they doing there?
We've hired ninja assassins.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll wrap that up before I'm homeless. Thanks for joining us for episode 14 of deBETA. My final episode, I'm afraid.
I said you think you'll be on next week's, but I guess not.
No.
Alright,
my laptop's
tune in
down
next
as well.
week to see out if Noah is still alive.
Yeah, and
tune in next week for me as the host of the deBETA podcast.
There'll be an article on IceDJGaming.com for any items that you wish to purchase of Noah's.
We'll link to his eBay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Make sure you check all our content out at IceDJGaming.com. We're trying to get as much content as we can out, which leads quite nicely to Destiny Reviews Call. We've recently done that. That should be up by the time you hear this, so make sure you check that out.
Amazing.
It's amazingly horrible. That's the best way to describe it.
Sure is.
It's something special.
It's special indeed. Make sure you have earplugs because you might need those halfway through. But I hope you enjoy it. We had fun making it, so we hope. Well, Cody didn't have fun editing it, but we had fun singing it.
Yeah.
I had fun listening to it.
That's a different beast entirely. But that was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening through it again and again and again and again and again.
Destiny!
Yeah. So.
Make sure you check out our other podcast, the Alphacast, which Grant appears on and isn't as good as our one, but I'm sure you'll be delighted by it. We're also partners with MX2 Gaming, so make sure you check them out, and we're partners with 8bitchimp.com, so make sure you check them out. Tyler, one of our writers, is also writing up some previews of Bloodborne, The Order 1886, and Dying Light and Mortal Kombat X.
Lucky.
Mortal Kombat 10. So make sure you check those out. And thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Have a good one.
Later.